Good morning, it's Bill with Bill's Never Ending Projects, and it's Christmas weekend is now done. It's Monday about noon, or maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was down here this morning and got the 10 jack wired. I'll show you here in a second. I'll give you an update if you haven't watched these videos before. I'm putting back this parted out machine. I didn't even have this upper box. And then I found somebody that's scrapped everything in it. I mean everything except the glass and the frame. And I did have this 10 years earlier from eBay, and I had the playfield, and I had the contents down there. At least most of them. And the coin door. And the bat. Field includes the bat and the picture. Work area back here behind it. I put a light up here and have one I can move around, and then I use flashlight for everything else. I had the Jones plugs that I didn't have, but I acquired from Steve in New York. These are the old kind. Have copper strips on each side, not pins. So anyway, I was able to get the female jacks to them. Of course, the male jacks were on the end of the wires, which came with the machine. The only thing they didn't give was the wiring for the back box, which included all this and these female sockets. One's 11, one's 10, and one's 9. All the adjustments, the all replay switch, and the mystery and skill and off switch, and the 4, the match, the name, the high score replay, and the 2 T's adjustment for the Grand Slams. I didn't get any of the adjustments. Anyway, my idea is when I bought the yellow part, the run man, and I bought the guts to the belly. Oh, the other thing, there was no lower cabinet and there was no legs either. I had to make the cabinet and buy the legs. So when I bought the guts in there and the yellow part with the run man, I thought maybe I could get these other pieces off eBay. And I did, but it took years of waiting for listings where somebody parted out a machine. So I got the second player white skull reels. That's 2-steppers. They're different because this has a 9 switch that will run this one. And it's the same with both of them. This has a 9 switch which runs that one, and this has a 9 switch which runs that one. So I got those. I got them installed. I, for a long time, couldn't find any it's called the high score relay, a reset relay. So I took some relays that were about the same length, and now these are it. And the switches in this one had the make and break switch at a different spot. Could be up for days because the high score impulse, the old switch, had the hold on 1, the reset latch on 2, the replay latch on 3, it's kind of the workhorse to score your score runs was switch 5. And switch 4 really just did your 9 switch to the So switch 5 was really the workhorse of the deal. So then with that different relay, my make break switch was in a different spot. So that's the old switch. And now the new, that's the old switch, and then the new, so I had to make a whole different order. So now I have the replay on switch 1 and the 9 switch to do the 10s column, which I call less of a workhorse, on switch 2. And switch 3, I've got the one that does the 1s column I call the workhorse. And so nothing's the same anymore, not a single one. And 4 is the one that switch 1 would be the hold, and switch 5 reset. So that's just too weird that they were. And this whole thing here I made up. Well, that's the run relay duties. The high score is the one. So 1 is now 4. Switch 2 is now switch 5. Switch 3 is now switch 1, and switch 4 is now switch 2. And switch 5 is now switch 3. That's definitely enough to mess you up. And then it's simple. The score resets. Each one switch, they all stayed the same because it didn't need a make-break switch. So 1 is still where 1 was, and so forth. Each one does a different a score stepper. That's all the reset is. 1's probably the one for the 1's column, and then 2 is probably for the 1's column over there. I don't know. Otherwise, and then it's easy. I feel like it was easy. It's 2 and 3 are the workhorse ones to do the 9 and the 10 through 90, and 4 just does the large bell, and 1 like normal holds it on. So it was this high score impulse relay that since I switched all the switches, it just kept mixing me up. To the story, a couple years ago, I had all the parts kind of, and I had to make this plywood back in here because you got to cut holes in it where the stepper fits through, and you got to have the holes where the lights go, because there's different lights that come out for the second player and the first player, and the yes you matched, and the match numbers, and your Grand Slam lights that they call the shortstop, and the game over, and the tilt, and over here is a Grand Slam 1 and a Grand Slam 2. Oh, I made this little board, and I put this up here where it's supposed to be after I had everything wired, but I wired it kind of out here further. When I shoved it in, there was such a mess, and it didn't work, and I couldn't trace anything. It was such a mess because I used too big a wire. They run all the wires up with just that. That's probably 62 wires. When I run it up, just 22 wires equals that. And then I even got 2 more with Wes. So you put all these together. Well, maybe it isn't that much more. Maybe it isn't that much more than that. But obviously factory wire harnesses are really neat. And you could work on anything you want and see whatever. It wasn't like this. Everything was tucked in and went back and ran across. Much like that picture. See, you don't see any wires. That's a picture of somebody's factory wire harness. Since it didn't work, and I never really thought I would get everything perfect on the first try, I decided to move these Jones plugs and put them in the belly down here. And I made a shelf here to work on it. So I got everything lengthened right now by making 3 cords to extend it. 3 cords to extend it. I only got to do the 9 on each side one, and most of them are all easy. They're either lights, hot wires. There is a couple that might be something different. The ones on this side are all just lights. And I cut them, so there's a wire somewhere I can find for each one of these and just splice it in with butt connectors. And then splice it in down on the plug with butt connectors. So once I get this side done, I'm down to just 9, because this is the 9. And so I should get that done this afternoon. Find a couple things wrong. So I still think some of my coils that run these steppers are bad. I got an order in for, you can see them way up in there. I think some of those are bad. This one is the one that hums the best when I put a train transformer on it. I don't have a, unless I jump off the real transformer, I don't have a 50-volt power source. But that one seems like it's in the best shape. But that's the one that hardly ever gets used because it only ever clicks twice if you go up to automatic reset on 40. See how all this is blank? Yeah, it's hardly ever used, that's why. So then I realized that that's the way they all should buzz when I put the train transformer on. It's got about 18 volts. This one really buzzes. It's not going to move it, but it really buzzes, and these don't so much. So I think these coils are pretty much shot, and I got new ones coming. So, but when I get this one done, this plug, I'm certainly going to try it, and that should be later tonight. So I'm going to get that 9 Jones plug with 18 on each side, and then you got to splice them up on top. So, so that takes a little longer because you're not just splicing the bottom, you got to go up and do the other end too. So twice the 18, and so I can't even, when I was doing those other ones, I couldn't even keep the radio on. I had to concentrate, and I kept the schematic right here, about 6 feet away, and then I would just be back over there, and then I'd be back looking at this, then I'd be looking at my bigger charts that I made, and charts, and that picture of the lights in the back box, and I got notes on the wall, and notes, and over here I was crossing them off. Got the 11 all crossed off, all the 10 crossed off, so down to the 9. So now with the thing moved down, and I don't think too much is going to change, but I did find a couple things that were wired wrong, so that will change. Because before I took this apart, I manually tried to push the reset with my finger, changing all the switches without the coil pulling it in. I pulled it in with my finger, and that's like taking my finger and putting it on this thing all the switches go through, and then I would just push it in like that. That would change it, the same as the coil doing it. When I did that, it blew a fuse, so I knew I had something wired wrong. So I didn't want to cut them all. I could have somehow maybe taken one off and then lengthened it. Then I wouldn't have to look for where it was, and then do another wire, kind of like you do spark plug wires on a car if you put on a new distributor. But without getting it out of the way, it's kept getting in the, because I wanted to lengthen it and then hook one up down there, but if it's still up here, how can I hook it down there? So I just cut all 62 wires, and then I had to do it like I did where it took me all week, 7 days, or I had to do something on a couple days, but so it took a full work week and then, like I said, that high score impulse relay, the make and break was in a different spot, so then they all come out into a different order. So that, because you'd read them on the schematic, it would be saying this switch number, and then I'd have a different switch number, and so I had to go back through all the, I figured cutting them all like that would make me go back through them all. I might find any mistakes, so I had to follow every single thing I did a couple of years ago. So maybe there is a better chance that it'll work this time. So I'm back to work on this, and 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, maybe I'll turn this back on when I plug it in. Okay, see ya. It's getting late already. I had to go do something. But I'm going to stay down here until I get this today. This is my 9 on each side wire, so 18. So I only used 3 or 4 different colors, so then I had to color code them with tape. And then I just kept using this thing to beep them out. I'd put it up on ohms, then I hit that button right there, and then it would, if I don't hit that button, then it just reads the ohms. And then I got this end. This is this end of it. got them all color coded. So now, and I got these all stripped down each side. So the tough part up here is I have to find the wire that's coming from all those different lights and stuff. And here it's the hot where it says 50 volt hot. So I have to take the wire that's going to come off this one, I suppose, and then I gotta run it up here and probably go under all these wires and hook it to one of these. Then I got 17 left. Okay, well, I'm gonna get back to it. Hey, good day. Now it's afternoon on New Year's Eve, Tuesday. I quit last night, watched some football, so I'm not making my deadline anyway of a week ago. So I'm down to hooking up some lights, and I'm gonna use the train transformer here for that. Yeah, that's the 9th row, and this side's all wired, so I got 9 left on this side, and they're all lights. So I turn my train transformer on, and as I go up and down with this handle, let's see how much it is full power. They probably call it 16. So I put it right at a line right there, and it's right at 6. So I'm gonna use this to right on that line. I'm going to use this to light up the different lights so I can quickly wire the rest of the stuff without searching it out so bad. So the 9 left are all these Grand Slam lights, they call it the shortstop. They light up the letter shortstop, and the one in the middle is not in this list. It's way over here on the 11 one called the name light, so that's already wired. So because this is a 9, and that would make, there is 10 lights, can get 10. So I'll point to some wires that are sticking out, and then I'll turn on the train transformer and we'll see what lights up. There's 5 coming out of this cable here, so I hooked it to this yellow one. I'll get a piece of paper and I'll just start writing it down. I could use this 9 thing here. Let me turn the page, see what I got written. This is the right side of the 9, but I wrote all these letters here, but I think I could put the color right in here and that'll be good enough. And so every time I turn this on, then I got it on the yellow wire, so it's always going to be just these. So let's see which one we get. Turn it up near that black line. And doesn't show up on camera. I'll turn the lights off. Okay, again, it's going to be, there's 2 S's because you got shortstop, so it's, I don't know. And there's 2 O's. I don't know if there's any other doubles. But, okay, so turn it up again. Yeah, so it's under the S there, so we got the S in stop, so I gotta go mark the color down. Okay, and I'll just keep switching the wire, remember the color. Now we got white with brown stripe. Nothing. Now we got the T in short. So the T and short's lit up. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just do this stuff off camera, but that's what I'm doing to finish it up. That's about 6:26 on New Year's Eve. I stayed with it all. All the 9 plugs are wired now, both sides. Okay, so I got what I wanted. The wires are down here, and I can reach through this stuff and read stuff. So I should be back in the same spot I was before where it didn't work. Only I can now see through the wires. But I did find a couple things wired wrong, so there might be something different when I turn it on. That fuse is it's humming. With the circuit breakers, I can't tell what's what anymore. Maybe I'll put fuses back in. General illumination back there is on, I think. That's my light. Correct anything to do anything, but I got credits on it. Let's see. How did I start it before? Let's see. 3 credits. Let's see if it puts another one on. It's still 3 credits. So now the other one where I pushed that with a screwdriver. I don't know. I don't think anything got reset. But it did stop, and the square motor didn't keep going around. Well, I'm going to hang it up for tonight. Yeah, I don't even know what it's doing in the back box. It makes some noise like something's trying to reset. So now for the part of actually trying to troubleshoot it in the weeks to come, I guess. All right. Have a good Happy New Year. Okay, New Year's Day. Yeah, with the wiring finished yesterday, about 6 o'clock. After I shut the camera off, I did find improvements in the machine. The wiring still has a short in it. I'm going to take the circuit breaker out of that today, so I leave it out. I think it's burning out light bulbs. Just the lights I'm talking about. So at least it burned out a few that I was checking as I was wiring it. The improvements are, I'll show you. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, they're not that, they're big improvements to me because I got nothing out of the machine before, except the run man would go around, not stop, the score motor wouldn't stop before I started rewiring this. Now I haven't got any movement out of the run man, so that was one thing better before. And the score motor that wouldn't stop now won't start. But when I went back and tried manually resetting the score reels with the manual reset button and pushing the I don't know what did I do to do that. I must have. I guess I will have to do it to see what I did. Okay, so when I push this run button, one doesn't do nothing, but it's changing the tens column, and this one's probably supposed to change the ones column. but it might be on 0, so let me go look. When I push that button for this reel, I do hear a faint tick back in there. This one's going to need a new coil. It's wired, right? So that's all these do is reset the high score. The white score reel's moving, so I must have put my hand in here, and I must have flicked the run relay, so let's try that now. This is the run relay, right? Yeah, run relay. Okay, let's try it. Oh, that's the run relay, my mistake. That would, no, that would give you runs, but I'm not getting any. So let's try the score reset relay, because I have, there we go. It's resetting the score. Let's see if they all stop at 0. I don't think if you manually do it. Just keep going. They don't stop at 0. Yeah. But manually. At least that's hooked up, so I'm getting some action there. And I tried the high score pulse, and remember this coil I think is burned out, so that's why I got it like it didn't act like those, put it that way. It was like I was going into a dead shorty coil. So, and as far as this credit stepper, it hasn't ever moved yet. And I don't, when I push reset, well, now I can start troubleshooting because all this is wired up and it's going to stay here. I'm not going to, of course, not going to try to put it at third place. So I never could troubleshoot before because I couldn't see through here, so now I can. And I never even seen the score reels move before. So we've seen 5 move. This is the only one that didn't, and that probably needs a new coil. Oh, that thing, the bat worked. I haven't seen work is the, well, big things anyway. I haven't seen this work. And before I rewired it, those wouldn't stop moving. That just kept going around, and so did the score motor. So, and I know when I push reset, this one, and that one, oh, when I push the start button, credit button, whatever you want to call it, the second one, called the index relay, which turned on a bunch of stuff, the start relay, and the reset hold relay and the lock relay all pulled in. So lock relay, reset hold relay, start relay, index relay, all pulled in the way they were supposed to. Reviewed the things that those relays do. The index relay, switch 1 holds it on, switch 2 closes a good path to put the second person in by pushing the second coin. Yeah, it's bringing in second coin relay with a second press of the button, so not worried about these two. Switch 3 of the index relay, there, that's the one. It pulls in the start relay. That's happening because I seen it pull in. And switch 4 pulls in the lock relay. That happens. And switch 5 pulls in the run man switch. Now, I don't know if that's going on. I also read off the reset hold relay, and I don't have anything written down for that. I'll have to get some of my notes. All those relays pulled in, now we see what they do. So the start relay, switch 1 holds it on. Switch 2 starts the score motor, so I should be able to run a jumper wire from switch 2 and get it to start the score motor. And switch 3 does the multiple resets, makes the match step or move 1 step. stops the loading coil with switch 4 from loading any players, because this switch starts the run man to move, and you don't want to load any. That switch 5 from the index relay starts the run man back here in the back, and under the run man it's going to be that one. I think this is switch relay 2, relay 3, relay 4. So if I had a second person, I could see if this one gets pulled in at the same time those other ones get pulled in. If I had somebody back there, I could see if the run stepper unit, I could put a few runs on it and see if it resets. There's no digits to that, it's just steps. And without a coin meter, I'd have to just put a meter on there to see if it got a jolt of electricity. And then the lock relay has to stay on through the whole game, I guess. So otherwise you can't bat. Switch 1 is normally closed, allowing the bat to work. And normally open. And so then when it stays pulled in for the whole game, it'll close, and then the bat coil will work when you push the bat switch, or the bat switch. And then that's the bat relay, so the bat switch makes the bat relay pull in the bat coil. Yeah, so this is normally open, so if the lock relay doesn't stay on for the game, then you can't ever bat. And switch 1 is way down on L19 on the schematic, and there's nothing that cancels it like relays, other relays. That's because it stays on for the whole game, I would believe. That's why there's no another switch that would cancel it. So I put nothing cancels it. So it would close, probably be a normally open switch that would close for the game. I was checking the wire yesterday. I noticed the run relay has the 4 switches. That one bell we're hearing is switch 4, and switch 1 is this. And the switch 2 and 3 do the scoring of the white reels, and they score the second player when the second batter switch is thrown between players. But so the top switch, run relay switch 1, has that little jumper. It goes right to the coil, and this is a 2-blade switch, so you're going to get 2 an in and an out. So the in has that little T jumper wire, gets that little T, and yes, it's a short wire, but it still gets a T, and it goes to the run stepper unit end of stroke switch 1. On my machine, it's the top switch of the end of 3 end of stroke switches. Then, luckily this piece of sheetrock is long, because that's what I wrote it on. Then it goes to the open at 45 run switch. That is your gear on the run stepper. It has a rod sticking out, and so then your limit at 45 run switch, when it gets up to 45 runs, it opens that switch, so you can't get any more. So the run limit switch. So the negative coil gets a jumper wire, it goes through the end of stroke switch, then it goes through the run limit switch, then it goes to the ground. Other feed from the two-blade switch, going the other way, goes to the second player end of stroke, then it goes to the first player end of stroke, then to the ground. So when I say the one switch holds it on, In this case, it does all that. Okay, so keep that in mind, that switch 1 goes through all those paths. Okay, so now it's time to look at those relays that I just named off. The index relay, the start relay, the hold relay, or the, what's that one? The reset hold relay and the lock relay. Let's see if all those are getting turned on then when I hit that switch, but I don't got a coin switch right now. Well, wait a minute, the coin switch just puts on the credits. Okay, so I just got to stick that screwdriver in my temporary start switch. Okay, I can do that with the camera. So, never find that. Not where the mark is, it's over further. There it is. So then, that'll be pushing that in. So I'll turn it back on. And we're going to look and see if this one pulls in, this one pulls in, this one pulls in, this one pulls in. It ends at the lock relay right here. So those two and those two. This one's for tallying up money. Okay, so let's see if those still pull on. Oh, good. What? Wonder why it worked now. Huh. Let's try that again so I can see how I take all this in. Maybe the second time it'll be different. So, trying to see if so we don't need to get that one on the camera. So those 4, see if they move. Nope. I think I just seen these 2 move. Okay, I don't know about this one, but this one is supposed to lock on. And one of these, I'll have to see which one. One of these is supposed to be resetting now. Well, that's what I'm going to be working on, so I'm going to put the camera down, and that's good to hear that the score motor turned during reset. So now I don't have to put a jumper wire there. So I'm going to put this down while I do some more trying things, troubleshooting. I just found a problem. Can you read that lock relay message from the factory there? It says M34 3100 coil. So it needs 34 gauge, I guess, at 3100 wraps around the bobbin. So I replaced it with look, an 1800. That's going to burn out if it tries to hold it on the whole game. I screwed up. Now I'm going to have to and order a coil. I'll have to wait a week for that to come in. Jeez. I thought all these were 1800. Because look. 1800. 1800. 1800. They're all 1800 except that one, and that's the one I changed. Jeez. Oh well, so that's might be a problem. Because that's got to stay on for this proves it. The lock relay does have to stay on for the entire game. That's why they put twice as many windings, I guess. It changes the ohms, I'm sure, to the way that they need them changed. Okay, so now I gotta get that. That's another thing I gotta order. Okay. Oh, it's a holiday today. It's New Year's Day, so I just come down to show you what I didn't film last night. That I got there's some things that do work. It's just It's not. I gotta find the short and the wiring so I can use back in.
6 volt wire.
And then I gotta see why these, I think, I gotta find out if that one's supposed to do something. The reset hole, I'll have to read what that does, I forgot. And then this one's got a pull-in for the whole game, so this, I didn't see any movement out of these two, but maybe it's just, I don't think it's anything to do with because I took the fuse out of the lights. That's the only difference from when I did it before. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll read up on what the reset hold relay does, reset hold, and I'm just gonna watch a couple movies today and relax. My wife's on the road for a funeral tomorrow, and so I got nothing to do, but that don't mean I gotta come down and work on this thing. Alright, well, it's still New Year's Day, and it's getting about dark out, so getting bored upstairs, so I come down to do some work. So I got the video camera on these back relays from the Run Man. I want to see if any of them move. I'm going to push the credit button to see if it'll start, which it won't start, but we'll see if it moves these. Okay, get my screwdriver here. And let's see if it moves them. Let's try it. Not getting anything. Well, I suppose I better get it to, I must not plug it in or something. Hey, the credits are now off there. Hey, so it's deducting credits. All right, different things are starting to work. Oh, I gotta put some credits on it. We'll try it one more time. You guys tell me if this, any of these move. Yes. Should do something here pretty quick. Okay, they move. Okay, I had to rewind this and watch it back. I had a monitor going here, but it was much easier to see in the video. So now I know. The Run Man, I couldn't see anything from over here, but the carousel moved from underneath, and all relay 4 went off, then relay 2 went off, then relay 1 went off. Okay, I didn't know all that worked. Good.
I mean,
Glad I came down and checked.
relay 4, 3, and 2.
This darn little switch I put here. This switch I gotta put the screwdriver in to hit. The top screw just didn't tighten up right. I'll have to work on that some more. Back by the transformer, I want to see these move again here. Now I know it's taking credits off, so let's see. So the second one right there is a start relay, so that one and that one I know are moving, but those two, even though that's got the wrong coil in it, it should still try to hold it in and then just burn it out, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, I'll back up a little more. Okay, right there, if I can hold that. I'm just going to shut it off and look at that again. I think you've probably only seen 2 relays move because that's what moved before. Okay, I'm going to go back to troubleshooting. No, the lock relay there is staying on after I reset it. So anytime after I reset it and I just let the transformer hum, this thing was humming, and that means it was locking on and staying on like you were going to play a game. So there is some of this in the where it's reset and ready to go, because that was humming on even though it doesn't have the right coil in it. It was holding it in. So I'll have to find out if this is even supposed to be in. This is the reset hold relay. This is the only one I didn't notice. I don't know what you guys seen when I had the camera on it, but it happened so fast. So this one goes on and on like it's supposed to, and at the end of the reset it shuts off. This one, I'm not sure. It's the reset hold. I also wrote it here. And then the lock relay does stay on the way it's supposed to. The only thing that doesn't happen is I don't think the bank relay solenoid here is showing up. And the square reels aren't going back to zero. And that's what I'll have to look into. Okay, well this is making my New Year's Day a good day. I'm glad I come down to troubleshoot some more, because when I had you guys watching the Runman relays there, relay 2, 3, and 4, that are used during the startup to reset the Runman, I didn't know that was all working. And then after that, when I found out the hold relay was on, that means it's reset. The only thing that's not getting reset is the bank relay that I was just pointing to earlier, and that means the game over would have still been on. So I reset it by hand, and then guess what? Quick look and see what turns on the bank relay. It has to be that reset hold relay, because that's the one not turning on during reset. Get a flashlight here. Maybe I don't need it. There's the bank relay. Let's go over and see what turns it on. Reset hold relay switch 2. And the score motor turning. Well, we got the score motor turning for reset that I didn't think we had, but we do. So that reset hold relay is not turning on. So the coil could be shot. So then I got to do that. But guess what happened after I pushed that arm? I reset it with the screwdriver, and those pulled in. It did the reset. The motor went around like it should. It's not having that problem not shutting off because of the score rails, because they're acting like they're not even connected. So that's a good thing, I guess, for now, because it shuts off like it's supposed to. So when I did this by hand, the game's activated. So I pushed down a run. One of those run switches, and it tried to make the player run, but if you look in there, it's crooked and it's stuck. So I quick shut it off. Now I gotta go straighten the players so that I can make one pop up finally. Hey, I've straightened them in. Now I'm gonna. What was that? Anyway, didn't do that before when I hit the switch. Okay, so let's see how many credits I got. I still have 0. Jeez, I've already reset it 8 or 10 times. Hey, I see a 9 in there now. Let's see if they still get stuck. First I have to I guess, push the screwdriver. Alright, they cleared the playfield for the reset. That's what it's supposed to do. But it's one thing with the players going down, it's another thing coming up. So let's push a playfield switch in here. Let me get in here to push a playfield switch. What do we want? Not that one, that's an out. Here's a single. I can't reach it. How about the double? Oh, I have to do the bank reset by hand. I forgot. It's still on game over. There. Okay. We'll make like the reset hold relay switch to just did the bank reset. Now it should be a little different. Single. Go for a double again. Alright. Aha, wouldn't that be neat if I actually got a run? It's on, oh, it can't be on 50 runs because, well, let me put the runs down just in case I get one. I don't think I will. It's got a 45 run limit. Okay, now we're on 5 runs.
But the 45 run limit doesn't mean score reels, it means the run stuffer.
I guess you can look up there. I'm sure it's not going to do nothing. I can point it at it while I do this.
I think I know why it's not doing nothing. The run,
These guys are working. Let's try a single.
that
Single
run
there
switch,
isn't working. Let's
I
try
got
a
to
double.
file that run
Let's try a
switch
triple this time.
between home and third base. It must not be triggering the runs. I must have to file.
Okay, let me hit a single, a double again. Make sure it's not scoring on the second score. Reel. No. All right. Well, I'm going to settle for this today. Since New Year's Eve, I'm going to go up and watch a movie for New Year's Eve and listen to some sports talk, I guess. All right. Well, think about what I got to do next. So I'm starting out a good year. Yeah, I've waited a long time for this to happen, so it turned out to be it's partially working on New Year's Day 2025. I probably bought the thing sometime between 2012 and 2015. Probably more like 2013 or 14 or something, so I've had it over 10 years. So, of course, it was just a pile of parts, being it's a Frankenstein machine now, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my New Year's Day and hope you do the same. I'm checking some ohms to check those coils. Not these. These are just some new ones I'm using to make sure my meter works right. So it says the speaker, I wrote out at one time that it's 5.6 and this says it's 5.9, so this must work. Got it on that, and it says 4950. That coil too, and it's the same. One of these little Sony speakers, and it said 4 ohms, so I guess it's working. The leads on the reset hold relay. Yeah, it's being wired up with all these, it's either hot or ground together. It's only a couple numbers different than the 2 coils that were sitting in, that are new, sitting in a separately. So I take it that one's good. It's just not turning on. I did all these tests because the guy on the internet was always getting like 3 ohms to 5. So let me test one of these bigger solenoids. This says D24 1400. Okay, and now I do get a lower reading, just 3 or 4 above his, 4 or 5 anyway. But those other ones come up to nearly 50, so I don't know. So I'm thinking if all those got the same reading, that's what they are. And if these bigger solenoids, let's try a different solenoid. Now I'm doing the out unit. The hook to the out unit there. And we've got 6.8 to 7. So these bigger solenoids that run the steppers do read lower. These read higher when they're good, on my meter anyway. So if this one's reading good, now I gotta figure out why it's not coming on when it's reading good. I got a different meter for the heck of it. It does show between 50 and some, maybe high, a little higher. That's what it's supposed to be. I put it on the start relay, and then I turned on the credit switch. I hit the credit switch, and it showed the start relay having 50 some volts going through it when the starting was going through it. And this is the one that's not getting any. I think that lock relay is still pulled in. I'm just going to go with the one I put in there that's wrong for now. It isn't getting real hot or nothing. So, okay, so I'm going to turn it on with it on. I'm going to do the reset with it on the reset hold, and we're going to see if it's getting the 50 volts coming to it. Here we go. No, it's not getting anything. I put it back on the start relay. You can see it's the start relay from the tag. So let's reset it with it on there. You'll see it'll go up to 50 volts because it's getting the juice. Yeah, so it went up to 60 for a second there, then 50 the rest of the time. And now it's off. So this one's not getting the juice when it turns on. That's why this isn't resetting. And I also looked, the score reel's reset from this reset. From this reset hold relay. So now we gotta find out why it's not getting the juice when I reset. I wrote down what the index relay does. It doesn't turn on that reset hold relay. It pulls in the start relay, it pulls in the lock relay, and it starts the run man resetting from number 4 relay. I don't have any more notes on what starts that, so I'll just look on the schematic. Okay, here's the reset hold relay coil, positive and negative side. And I'll come back and look at this. Let's see where it gets its ground to turn on. Through switch 1. But that's to hold and to cut the hold. So it goes under this little thing. Goes to the score motor. A is the score motor. Reset hold relay. Switch 1. That can't be pulled in until the relay shuts. So what pulls in the relay that will shut it to give this switch shut? So I'm going to search that. Well, there's no sense in going any further than this open switch because this ground through the score motor switch can't pull that coil in over here because of the open switch. That doesn't shut until this is pulled in, so it has to be one of these two. And this is the game over switch, which is, I went upstairs to find these books, and I didn't know they were up there, so I looked a while down here. Left this power strip on. It meant the plug that turns the game on was still on. So if you want the lock relay to go off once the game's on, and once you've reset it, you have to shut this off and turn it back on. I didn't do that. So that stayed pulled in for 15 or 20 minutes, and it was real hot. I had it off now just for a couple minutes, and it's still hot. So that means I'm going to pull this wire off and put a block of wood in there to keep it on, because it's supposed to be on for the whole game anyway. So I'm going to take this wire off and put a block of wood in there to keep it a wedge. I'm going to wedge something in there to keep this pushed over like that. Then I don't have to worry about forgetting the switch on. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I found a perfect little piece of wood. It's too wide, so I'm going to hold it in, you know, hold this over and then draw the line. And yeah, I'll hold it over, then I'll draw the line. Then I'll go cut it back. Okay, I drew the line, and it's just that little bit that has to come off, so maybe I can peel off this last layer of plywood. Okay, I took off that one layer of wood off the 3/4 plywood, and then had to add about 3 wraps of electrical tape on it to tighten it up. It's fully on. Then I just put a little tape on the end of this wire, so the lock relay will be on without having to make a relay hot until I get one in the mail. Okay, back to this. Why isn't it coming on? So path is going to have to come down here, or it's going to have to come down here. So when the index is what turns everything on. So the index will pull in. Then this is showing the game. This is a bank reset game over switch. So it's showing the game reset and unplugged. So then this game over was never tripped. So this is going to be on the side where it's like during gameplay, I think. And then the juice should move to here, and this is the make-break switch also, same as that one, only it's on the out stepper. Now, it's showing it reset and unplugged, so that means the outs should be on 0 right now. And so let's go see which way it is with the outs on 0. And because the machine's right here, let's take a look with a mirror. Okay, let me put some runs on the out unit. I mean some outs. Okay, it has some outs on it, so it's not like it's reset anymore. Now let's look in the mirror. Let's see if it's better with the light or without it. I'll put a dim version. So, to me it looks like the bottom's open now. So when it's got outs on it, the bottom's open. Now let me push the reset coil by hand. Now the bottom's closed and the top's open. So the way you normally reset a game is when it's got outs on it, so I don't know the way it was because I monkeyed with this, so let's say I was trying to reset it with this on 0, and that would be open. And if that's open, then that relay wouldn't have pulled in. So let's try it now with the switch. How did I do it? Let's see. Yeah, this has got runs on it. So the top is now closed. So let's see if resetting, there might be runs on it, but I mean outs. You know that. So with this having outs on it now, see, this is the top of the switch, but I don't know that the bottom on the schematic means the bottom on the switch. I guess it does, and that's what I'm hoping. So with runs, with outs on it,
the top's closed.
Okay, so if this has got outs on it, and this is in game over like it normally would be, yeah, that's the one thing I found out. They draw this with the thing reset and unplugged, but they still show the game over different, I think. So this is probably tripped, and this has got outs on it. So that means when this juice comes around from the index, this is the replay button. So when the juice comes around, so if this is the reset button, the juice is going to come around through switch 1, come down through this switch that's pulled in. If this is in game over and closed, and this has outs on it and closed, then, oh shoot, we ended up with the second coin. Okay, the second coin gives us a clue, because to put the second player in the game, it has to be reset. So this is reset and unplugged. Okay, so this is the reset, and this is with 0 outs. So this is the 0 state. So if that's the 0 state, and this is the reset, that brings it to here, but we're down here. So this is with outs. Okay, so it's going to be closed down to here like that. It's going to have outs. And so whether this, because when this comes down, this bank relay doesn't change until this pulls in. So even if it did change first, it would just come and go through there. But this doesn't change until this pulls in. So this would still be down here. So it's going to go down here and over here and pull this in. And then it's going to put these up, and that makes it so you can do your second coin. So now we got it figured out, all because of this. Because you know these have to be up to add your second player by hitting the reset button, the replay push one more time. So that means to get this set, the game over has to be tripped, which it isn't, because I did that bank thing manually. And even if it wasn't tripped, it could come over to here. And as long as this has outs on it, we're going to get a full reset. So let's go see. Okay, there's still a problem. If this is the bottom is with the outs on it, so the bottom's open, not closed. I think I was acting like it's closed with outs on it. It's open, so it's the bottom switch does equal the bottom one on the schematic. How about that? So if this is open, we have to get this closed to get this pulled in. So what closes it? Right here, the start relay that the index relay does pull in. So when that pulls in, it's almost the same as having this pulled in, the start relay. And it does multiple resets, which one of them is the out. So that means when that pulls in, this shuts. And when this shuts, yes, the game overs. It doesn't. When this shuts, even if it's down here, I'm not sure where the game over is, but if it's down, because I'm pretty sure the game, if this is with no outs, then this would be latched. Because when you have no outs, you have this latched, but this can't be latched until this pulls in, because this resets the bank relay. So either way, let's say it's up, then it's going to come through here, because this index relay does the start relay. The start relay flips this, because it's going to reset the out unit. So I'm going to go reset the out unit and watch the bottom one close.
I need 4 new counters. I bid on a couple today, but one guy's got these things really expensive. Another guy they're not cheap. I didn't know. I never seen any for sale. I like to have all 4 of them that I'm supposed to have. Obviously, I left it on, I didn't push pause again, so I don't know how long it's going to go. I'll probably push forward fast. I just have to keep stopping and waiting.
And see if that does change, start making brake changes. So, there it is in the mirror. Here I go. Okay, yes, it did change. So that path is down. Okay, so let me put some runs on it, outs on it again. I always want to call it runs. Hey. I got to a certain spot on the out thing, and it made the motor go. Okay, so.
Yeah.
And then one of these flicked off.
That's the
I guess I can figure that out later.
That was the in-between player spot.
Okay, so let's just give it 1. Okay, it's on 0 now. No. Play hold, so let's see if it's going to go in this time. No. I suppose I could try to do that by hand. I'll have to do that off camera and see if the scores will reset. I held that reset hold relay in at the same time the index and the start relay pulled in, and I got the score reset clocking going on. And it's not stopping at 0 though. So I must have wired the 0 switches wrong, but that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but at least I need to get the score reels doing it automatically without me having to pull this in with my fingers. So, you know, hey, one stopped at 0. And the deal is, it shut off though.
Probably an accident.
Well, that's because it's not getting any juice, and I quit holding my finger. Let's see if anything will happen now. If maybe since I did it manually a couple times, it'll do something. Oh, I used all the credits again. There's some credit. I doubt anything's changed. I don't think it's going to fix itself automatically. No, I have to do that with my finger during the resets. So we got to find out why. We've checked the make and break switches. This can't be stopping it because it's doing what it's supposed to do. There is this game over thing, but it has a path either way. So that's not it. So if that's not it, and that's not it, the wires are on here on the 0 switch. So I'm gonna have to trace these wires from. I'm gonna have to chase them down and trace them to see if we're getting juice at switch 1. But that holds it on, so of course we should. Then I gotta see on the other side of the switch, a 2-blade switch has it coming in and going out. So then I gotta see that we got something going out to the bank relay. And then when I get to the bank relay, I gotta see if I got something coming out either this way or this way to go to this reset hold. And if it's this way, I gotta see what's going on with the 0 switch there. So I'll have to trace some wires because I'm not getting any juice over there. So somewhere between here and here, the juice isn't there. All right, I'll be doing that the rest later today. I'm not going to film any of it. You kind of know what I'm doing to get this going. I'll bring it back and tell you what I did if I find something. This is where I was going to check voltages from the index relay switch out feed to the index relay switch 2 in feed. Check switch 2 out feed to the make break switch, bank relay switch 1R, make break feed 1 straight through to the out stepper 0 switch, feed 2 down to the negative, into the reset hold relay coil, also teasing out the reset hold relay switch 2. Did that, I come over here and I had a jumper on this line, and I guess I left the switch turned on, and I bumped the jumper into something metal. I don't know if it was the top of this or the top of this, and made a big spark like a welder. And I thought this was supposed to be the ground, but this is not a 3-prong plug, it's just a 2, so then I turned it around. Now the hot should be back. Should be back to this one. These. This, I was testing this reset hold relay. Every one of these outside blades that's supposed to have 50 volts has 50 volts. But that don't mean the ground is getting there to, I filed these switches. No, I filed these over here. I'll file some more switches to see if anything changes, but I don't know what it is yet. Okay, when I filed the zero switch, that was it, so I don't got to worry about checking that wire. It was just a switch, wasn't getting good contact, it wasn't a broken wire. So here we go, for the first time, I pushed the credit button, and it will reset like it's supposed to, except for stopping at 9. Here we go. See, I'm not reaching down on the machine. I'm back here. It really does it. Except just like before, there's no credits again. Now I can see if I can get 2 players started. But I have to get the bank relay. I have to look and see if the bank relay is working now. Here we go again. It didn't do what it did last time. I'm not sure if it thinks they're all at 0, then they don't move. So, it could be I just have the score reels off the, maybe I didn't tighten the screws down in the right slots and they're off the 0, the timing mark.
Nah, that can't
I mean,
be.
they don't have a hex key or nothing, but they're, but when you tighten these down,
There's only one way to
probably
put them.
only go a certain way, and it's probably not it.
Yeah, it's probably not it.
Well, anyway, you just have to believe me when I reset it. This time it made the score reels move. So let me try resetting it one more time. It just might do something this time other than I shut the power off and turned it back on. Maybe that makes a difference. No. Yeah, it takes all the credits off it again. I don't know why the credits are coming off so fast. It's something groupie there. One more time.
Well, I just seen him go back. I don't think I even know they did it while you were watching, but they did.
I guess I gotta file that switch some more. Well, it's still the same day, January 2nd, and I'm down here this evening finding out a lot of things about it since I don't have to wire anymore. Thank goodness. Kind of getting sick of wiring there. It went on for quite a while. But, so now it's kind of like the repair anybody would do to any machine. Well, mine could still be a little different, of course.
Yeah,
But,
just a
I
little.
found out, I got it to reset another time from back here. So it's resetting it could be that the score reels think it's on 0 because I'm resetting multiple times in a row. And so if they were on 0, they wouldn't spin. But that could be. And if that's the case, then I'm done doing that. Then I wanted to find out how much I wanted to get it in the second batter mode. I wanted to trip all these on here to see what it would do. So
Not all of them.
I tripped the second coin, and then I trip the second batter so the out unit wouldn't have to do it, and then it did this. It did the setup between players to close out the first player and start the next one.
Yeah, I was
It's
surprised.
just like it's just like resetting the first game. I never owned one of these, and those reels actually stopped on 0. So that's my first 0 set, and also sat back here just tripping the putting the runs up. This is the run stepper, and every time I would put it up, it would score. I was on the second person, it was scoring. I haven't done it on the first person yet, but at the time I had put this second batter to see if it would do the second player setup between players, and it did. And then I kept getting outs just by putting my finger in the out hole, and it pulled in both game overs like it's supposed to. So I'm just learning how to flip these things. The only one I could get was the one on the end, because you could, well, let me show you. There's those things in there that you gotta trip. And so these switches are all in the way. So to trip those manually, if I'm coming in from the front, you've gotta hit just the top portion, because when I do it with my finger over here, let me reset it. There. This one's easy to trip over here. Watch that side of it. Isn't it tripped back? Oh, it's still down, huh? No, it's up, isn't it?
Now it is.
There. So easy that one is. But you can only get the end one like that. Maybe I can get this one on this side. Yeah. But the middle ones are so hard to get, so I'm learning them to do them with a... I'm learning to do them by putting a screwdriver in there, and you just about got to hit just the little top portion of it to trip it. There. So maybe I can try that now with the cover on. I tripped the bat many times before and it never did that. So